Today's video is about Hashing failure criteria implementation in Abaqus. The point of this lecture is to give you an idea about how failure is implemented inside commercial software Abaqus. Also, this serves as a very good example as to how progressive failure of composite materials is actually modeled numerically. So the first consideration is what is the inputs that you need for this analysis. What is the experimental data that you need a priori. You need the 6 strengths: the longitudinal tensile and compressive strength, the transverse tensile and compressive strength, the longitudinal and transverse shear strength. These 6 values will help you calculate the initiation of damage. Then you need a further 4 quantities for damage evolution, which is longitudinal tensile fracture energy, longitudinal compressive fracture energy, and the corresponding properties for transverse loading. Now, what does the term longitudinal transverse fracture energy mean? In this context, it means the following. Imagine that I have performed a longitudinal tensile test and I have found out that my stress strain curve looks something like this, and somehow I know that the first damage took place here. Now the area below the curve from the point where the first damage happened to the last final failure, this area is your longitudinal tensile fracture energy. Similarly, I can find out longitudinal compressive fracture energy if I have access to the stress strain curve for the compression test, and similarly for transverse. Now the problem with this is that this data is somewhat difficult to find, because let's say you have the stress strain curve for a particular type of loading. How can you find out exactly the point where the first crack has propagated? It is difficult. Either you need some extensive testing where you put some acoustic emission or micro CT scanning electron microscope where you're actually observing what is happening inside. Usually that data is not available, and sometimes there is some scope for hit and trials. You start with a guess value that the longitudinal tensile fracture energy, for example, is 90% of the total area below the stress strain curve. And then you do some hit and trial to get these answers, to get the 4 numbers that you need for the damage evolution. Also note that these 10 properties will have to be input during your finite element building model when you are describing your material properties. So for the initiation of damage, you have the Hashing failure criteria that has been implemented. So it distinguishes between fiber and interfiber failure. Abaqus uses the term interfiber failure, but generally we use the term matrix failure for the same term, and there is distinction between tension and compression. So the matrix failure, this is the formula, and the matrix compressive failure, this is the formula, which we already discussed at length in one of our previous lectures, where Y is your transverse tensile strength, Y prime is your transverse compressive strength, S is your shear strength. Remember, we have put 6 strength properties as input. 4 of them are used for your matrix failure or the interfiber failure, and 2 of them are used for your tensile fiber failure and compression fiber failure. And so using this, you can calculate the initiation of damage. You can also calculate whether the damage is due to tension fiber, compression fiber, or tension of matrix or compression of matrix. What next? Obviously the simulation should not stop there, because we know that for composite material several damage events have to take place together before your final failure takes place. So in Abaqus, prior to damage initiation, material is assumed to be linear elastic, where the stiffness matrix you input as your plane stress orthotropic material. After onset of damage, elasticity matrix is altered as follows. Where each term of your elasticity matrix is reduced by a factor 1 minus df, where df, dm, etc. are your damage parameters whose value varies from 1 to 0. Also keep in mind that this is elasticity matrix, not your stiffness matrix. So you have to, the different engineering constants are altered using formula like this. Now the next question is, okay, I know when the damage is initiated, I know when it is, I also know how to reduce the elasticity matrix, but what is the value of D? What is the value of df, dm, etc.? How do we calculate these values? By what factor should I reduce the different engineering constants? For that, you have what are known as damage parameters. Df is equal to dft if sigma 1 is greater than 0, and dm corresponds to the matrix failure. ds is a product of both fiber and matrix failure, and d is defined like this. So if I have fiber failure, it means that E1 will be reduced, Nu12 will be reduced, and shear modulus is reduced. And if I have matrix failure, Nu and E2 and G is reduced. And how is the value of D calculated? The value of D is calculated by assuming that the stress strain behavior of my material is bilinear, which looks like this. The point of inflection is your maximum stress point, which is input, and after that it's the curve starts going down in a linear manner. The area of this curve is the fracture energy input that you have already provided. After damage, the value of the modulus can be reduced using curves like this. So the modulus initially was this, but now my modulus after damage is this. Okay, and you have 4 such curves: tension, compression, longitudinal, tension, compression, transverse, and then based on the modulus, different modulus variation, you can calculate the value of the different damage parameters. So constitutive law is expressed as a linear stress displacement relation. It is bilinear, linear up to damage, and then linearly it starts reducing. Your element deletion will happen if the value of some damage parameter reaches 1 by default, but you can also alter it. You can also say that if my damage parameter is 0.5 or 0.25, that element can be deleted. And once a large number of elements have been deleted, then you will see that your material has, then your structure or your component has failed. A major limitation of this implementation is that Abaqus only allows you to model plane stress elements, meaning that this model was implemented solely for lamina or laminates, where you have multiple lamina and each lamina is in a state of plane stress. If somehow your composite is in a state of 3-dimensional stress, then you cannot use this implementation directly. Also, another important point is that this failure criteria has been implemented and it is ready for use. This does not mean that you cannot implement other damage criteria inside the software. Using user-defined subroutines, you are free to implement other damage models if you think that your damage model is more suited to your problem as compared to the Hessian failure criteria. So with this, I am ending today's lecture. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.